Hey, what's going on? This is Bernie with CG Spectrum. Yeah, so this morning it was a little confusing. We had daylight savings yesterday in California, and I believe the time for the stream's supposed to be actually an hour later than usual. Or I might just be confused. So in California, we lost 1 hour. I believe we go by UTC schedule, so I thought it was supposed to be at 11, but right now in California it's 10 a.m. That's the usual time of the stream, but again, we had daylight savings, so I thought it was supposed to be at 11 a.m. But I'm gonna have to double check. I thought it's safer to sign on than earlier than later, so that's what I did. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Penny? Yeah, so I was getting notifications on Slack to stream. That's why I signed on, but last minute. But yeah, I thought it was supposed to be an hour later. Anyways, I don't know if that's confusing to you guys as well, but yeah. Let's see. Hey Penny, what you been up to? Oh, I didn't even turn the audio on. Okay, cool. Anyways, today we are going to work on this dude again, the penguin. He did get approved. So this version right here got approved with the new proportions. So I'm gonna do the orthos for this guy. I'm gonna take it easy today. I don't think the orthos are gonna take that long, so we'll just take it easy. Penny, I'm still confused to be honest. Now we have a department meeting today, so I gotta ask, but for you guys, you didn't have daylight savings yet in Texas, right? So for you guys, yeah, nothing should have changed. Isn't this an hour earlier than usual, Penny, for the Monday streams? Or am I crazy? It must be an hour earlier for you if you didn't have daylight savings yet. Because again, because yeah, here it's 10 a.m., but it's supposed to be 11 a.m. right now. Damn, I think I just need to drink more coffee. Nuts. Hey, Isaias, have I tried animation? You're talking about what, 2D animation? Stuff like that, like cartoons and stuff like that? If that's what you're asking, no, I haven't done that before. I mean, I messed around with it like on my own a little bit, but not really. Why are you interested in doing animation, Isaias? It's kind of funny. I'm not even sure what the eye is supposed to look like from a side view for this kind of style. I just realized, man, I have no idea what I'm doing with this style. Like, the eye shouldn't be like the same from the front. It just shows you, like, you know, you don't have to know everything to be a professional concept artist. We don't know everything. We're just good at like a couple things for the most part. I mean, like I always say, there's always those geniuses that are great at a lot of things, but I don't think most of us are. We're not good at every style. We're not good at, you know, every subject matter. Really, my recommendation to students in general is always to focus on being great at a few things. Whether it's environment, whether it's characters and mechs, whether it's characters and creatures, you know, a combination of those two. You don't want to try to be great at everything unless, again, you're a genius and you have the capability of doing so within a limited amount of time. But for the rest of us, it's smarter, I think, to just focus on a few things and be great at it. So hopefully this gives you guys some hope. my inadequacy gives you guys some hope, knowing that I don't know how to do all this stuff. I don't remember ever doing ortho for this style, so I'm learning as I'm going. So yeah, I'm thinking it's more of an egg, more oval shaped from the side view here. Let's try that out. Hey, what's up, Tatum? Hey, Martin. Yeah, there are a lot of paths in the art industry. You just got to figure out what fits you the best, right? I wouldn't even think about, you know, what you think's going to be popular necessarily. I mean, you can think about that, but that's more of a side thing, like a secondary thing. You just want to focus on what you're interested in. Mainly, for the most part. Of course, there are times when you got to do things you don't want to do, like what I'm doing here, like in terms of orthos, right? But yeah, generally focus on what fits you, how you are, like what you're interested in and things like that. Yeah, drawing skills is always going to be important for pretty much everybody. Maybe like, I guess when 3D, you know, like 3D programs become more intuitive, like sculpting programs like ZBrush and things like that. Maybe you don't need to know how to draw anymore, right? When you could just sculpt with a computer, and it's like very intuitive. Maybe you don't have to know how to draw. That day will come probably, but for now, I would say learning how to draw is very important. Martin says, I'd love to really be good at everything concept art related, but I guess that's kind of unrealistic. I'm already on the character design path. Yeah, I mean, I always say, why not get paid to learn, right? So find the quickest way to get your foot in the door in the gaming industry or the film industry, entertainment industry, right? Find the quickest path to getting a job, doing what you love, right? And then after that, get paid to learn, you know? Then you can do environment stuff, you know, whatever else you want to do, animation, all that stuff you can do on the side as you're doing your job, you know? And you're going to be connected with other professionals, right? At that point, you're going to be working with maybe other 2D animation artists, right? So then you could learn from them, you know? Or you'll be around other environment concept artists sitting next to them, so then you can learn that from them, right? That's always made more sense to me. But to be honest, for me, I ended up not branching out to environment art and stuff like that. It really has to do with myself, like just focusing on other things in life besides art. And that's just a personal choice, right? It's not, you know, just because you do art professionally doesn't mean you have to be like some of those artists out there that are drawing 24/7 still, like, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that either, but, you know, everyone just has a different choice to make in life. So some of us just are happy just doing characters and, you know, supporting our family and stuff like that with our jobs. And art takes like a backseat in a sense, right? Like our pursuit of art. But definitely I've seen many artists grow and continue to develop their skill set and widen their skill sets as they, you know, as they're working. Oops. Hey Martin, as long as you're working, you know, working hard painting or whatever, it's all good. Things are changing so fast in the industry for artists. It's pretty interesting time. Did you guys hear about NFTs, by the way? NFTs, non-fungible tokens, like for like artists are creating like digital art to sell through like cryptos or with cryptos. I just heard about that this past weekend from a friend of mine, and I looked into it and I was like, oh, this is weird, this is interesting. Look into it if you guys if I had time, like, or I was starting off as an artist, I would definitely try that stuff out. It's you know, still early on to get in, to jump on the ship, on the boat, so look into it. It might be a good opportunity. Tatum's asking, would you say there is more of a demand in a particular concept art role, such as landscape or character design? That's a tough question to answer, because what I've noticed is there's a lot of I don't know. It seems like there's a lot more people that want to do character designs. At the same time, it's hard to find when I'm looking to, like when the company's looking to hire people, it's hard to find good character artists, like character concept artists. It's hard to find people who are capable of doing it. Yet I know there's a lot more people who want to do character design. Does that make sense? In my experience, it's always been easier to find environment concept artists. But that may be because a lot of the projects that that we were hiring for were for more realistic games, right? More realistic styles. So again, it's always like easy to find environment concept artists that have a more realistic style, because what they're basically doing is they are you know, using photo textures, pieces of photos, 3D assets to mock up their environment concepts and then paint over them. So it's just, in my opinion, it's easier for them to get a job, because some of them don't even have to know how to draw that well, because as long as they have a good eye, they know what something should look like, right? Then they're able to mock it up using photos and other 3D assets, right? And again, paint over that. So they can come up with imagery, right? That looks more polished, that looks more sophisticated, without really having the skills necessary to do it from scratch. Does that make sense? With characters, of course, there's people that do that as well, where they're using photos and things like that to mock it up and then paint over it. That happens as well, but it's less common, I would say, at this point. But yeah, yeah, that's how I would answer it. Yeah, it's not an easy question to answer. There's even specific roles like vehicle concept artists too. You know what I mean? I've seen that. It's less common, of course. And there's also just creature concept artists. Again, that's less common. So, you know, there are people that just focus on creatures, and those positions would be ideal for them. Like maybe it's like a Monster Hunter game where, you know, there's a ton of monsters in the game, so they need to hire a specific artist to focus on that. That sounds like a super fun job for me. I would love to just draw creatures and monsters. But again, I've only seen like a handful of them in the last, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Oops. Oh gosh. Sorry, I'm just laughing at myself because I was so confused about the time change. I still am. I gotta take a minute off of this to think about how was I thinking wrong about the schedule change. I think I got it all mixed up somehow. Hey, Margaret. Margaret doesn't believe in the validity of crypto, so she's good without it. Yeah, people have different opinions about it. I think it's just worth looking into. Sounds really interesting. It might all like go to zero, meaning like the NFTs. I don't know. It sounds pretty ridiculous, but who knows, you know? You could also become a millionaire doing it. Crazier things have happened. Even the stock market doesn't make any sense, but it keeps going up. So, you know, it doesn't all have to make sense for it to keep going up. Real estate doesn't make sense right now, but it keeps going up. Anyways, that's like a whole nother discussion. I could talk about that all day, like the economy and all that. Yeah, I'm just using the warp tool to adjust things because I'm not really focused right now. I'm making a lot of mistakes, so this is easier to just play with it while I just throw lines down without really thinking too much. I'm such a bad example here, but I guess the positive thing you could get out of this is, yeah, I'm not trying to like perfectly like throw everything down because then I'll get hung up on this thing, but I'm just throwing stuff down, trying to get it in the ballpark at least, and then knowing that I'll adjust things later. Again, if you're not used to doing this kind of stuff, at least for me, it's like doing something completely new. I'm not sure like what it's supposed to look like, how I'm supposed to approach this style again. It just seems so odd to me, but yeah, that's why I'm just throwing stuff down. I'm not sure how much like this is supposed to change here, like from his head to his belly. Like, what is that supposed to look like? Like, is there supposed to be like a drastic change in like the shape between like right here, his chin or whatever, if there is supposed to be a chin here, and his torso area? I have no idea what that's supposed to look like. See, for some of you guys, this stuff is easier, right? Where you're like, oh, you just make it up, like you just do what looks cool. For me, this is just completely foreign. Like, it makes no sense to me. Where's the anatomy? So later on, yeah, I am gonna focus on trying to make like interesting shapes. That's what I can try to do later, and try to balance out the shapes, like the curves and shapes, right? That's what I'll do later. I know it's gonna look weird in the beginning for a while. Because I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I will make adjustments. Do I like the monster? Is it Monster Hunter series? Sure, yeah. I wasn't really into it, but I know about it. Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, I'm mainly talking about the visuals. I think it's cool, and the subject matter. Oh, is there a new one coming out? I didn't know about that. I'll look it up later. Isaiah is saying, in the Dominican Republic where I study, they teach me everything from 2D, 3D animation, graphic design, illustration, and video, but right now I'm finding out which path in the art goes with me. Yeah, again, everyone's different. Some people, they know right away what they want to do. Other people, other artists, they're not sure. And that's fine. It takes a little bit longer for some people. You don't want to just narrow it down without knowing, you know what I mean? You want to be pretty sure what you want to do before you narrow it down. You don't want to be in a place where you thought you knew, you narrowed it down, you spend a couple years on something and you realize you don't like it. Yeah, that's not a good position to be in. You want to really think things through and make a good decision on how you know what you're going to narrow down to focusing on. Don't rush it. Don't make a decision just because you have to, right? Or you feel like you have to. But definitely the goal is to narrow it down as soon as possible. But don't force it, if that makes sense. Sometimes you do have to explore. But again, don't waste time. Explore quickly and try things out that you think you're interested in and make a decision. Hey Audrey, what's going on? Muncher? Somebody's hungry? Oh yeah, that reminds me, this past weekend I bought it was my youngest son's birthday. We had a birthday party for him and we got a shaved ice machine from Costco. And yeah, they loved it. It was pretty cool. We bought all this like different flavored syrups and made our own snow cones and stuff like that. And now they want to eat it every day. Now you're making me talk about food, Audrey. Isaiah says, now that I see the penguin in profile, I see that he is chubby and pretty boys from Madagascar. Where did the pretty boys come from? Sorry, I'm just... Hey, what's up, Way? Alright, I'm really hesitating on this guy, so I'm just gonna have to force myself to move forward. And again, it's just hard for me to focus right now. Just gonna lay it down. Let's just lay it down. Like, where does his arm and head, like, I don't even know where this is supposed to connect. It looks like from the front view, the head and the arms, or the whatever these are, the wings, connect, right? So like, what is that supposed to look like here? Whoa, that looks weird. I'm gonna leave it rough like that. Let's just keep moving forward. See how I talk to myself? You gotta like talk to you. Do you guys talk to yourselves? Do you try to encourage yourself? Motivate yourself when you're doing art? What do you guys do? Maybe I shouldn't make him too chubby. We'll see. Wow, look at that. That was weird. I wonder like what other mentors would do if they're in my situation right now where they're working on something and it's not turning out so great. Like if they would try to play it off or not. They're like, what, you know, it's coming along. Or if they would just admit to how horrible it looks. Anyways. I'm getting fired, guys. This will probably be my last stream. It's over. By the way, I was talking to somebody, one of my students, or a class actually, last week about positive thinking, right? And it came up because one of my students was talking about how she had a lot of negative thinking during the week while she was working on something. And yeah, I was just telling her how important it is. And again, I'm kind of a hypocrite in this. In this stream, I'm kind of joking around. Sorry, guys. I hope you guys don't take me too serious when I'm saying some things, right? But I do believe that as you're working on things, you're supposed to have a positive mindset. I do believe in that stuff. Meaning, of course, you can't like not put in the work, practice and studies, and then think that you're going to be great, right? That's nonsense, right? That's just being delusional. But what I mean is that let's say you're doing a study, let's say you're painting a penguin from a photo or something like that. It's important to really have a positive mindset as you're working, as you're starting off, believing that, you know, you are going to learn, you're going to get better, you know, things like that, instead of thinking, oh, I suck, or this is going to look horrible, this is looking horrible, things like that, right? You should always have a positive mindset, talking to yourself, right? Believing that it's going to be good, right? And one of the students in the class said he doesn't believe in that. He doesn't believe in positive thinking. He thinks it's complete nonsense. But I mean, maybe I'm kind of simplifying what he said, but that's generally... I'm bringing this up because I'm sure there are people that don't believe in it. I'm not trying to pick on that particular student, but just wondering what you guys think about that. Because again, I'm sure there are people who believe in positive thinking, the power of positive thinking. There's people who don't believe in it. What do you guys think? Because I was being negative, right? That's why I reminded. I was saying this sucks. But again, don't get me wrong, guys. Even though I say that, I'm not really thinking that. I'm just kind of messing around, making fun of myself here as I'm working. I'm just having fun, if that makes sense. I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea. You definitely shouldn't have a negative mindset if you're going to work on something. It's turning out great. Look at this guy. Hey, JD Smith. Muncher Hunter. Hey Audrey, yeah, it was my son's birthday. Thanks. He's 7 years old now. He had a great time, by the way. I got him like a bow and arrow set. Of course, it's not like a real bow, but he still loves it. He got laser tag, like a laser tag set. What else did he get? He got like these giant Jenga blocks, like that he could play with outside. And he got a Pikachu. What do you call it? Pikachu Piggy Bank. It's really cute, actually. I wish I could show it, but you put like a coin on the top of the piggy bank, and you press down on this button, and Pikachu will like pop out, kind of like peek out of this opening and like take the coin. It's really cute. Anyways. Yeah, shaved ice is cool. It's we mix it with some ice cream. Yeah, the ice texture is actually really good. It depends, like shaved ice texture is what's most important, right? But this machine's pretty good, so I like it. Oh, which one do you like, Audrey? Which apples? Oh, okay, Isaiah, so that's what they say in the that movie, Penguins of Madagascar. My kids watched it the other day. I was kind of half watching it, so I didn't pick that up. Yeah, Isaiah says, sometimes I try, but what motivates me the most is seeing others do great things. That's good. That's good. Some people get discouraged when they see the gap between themselves and, like, you know, someone else doing something great, right? But that's good that you feel motivated. Way's asking, what do you usually listen to when you're drawing? Usually I listen to, well, these days, again, it's changed, but usually I like listening to music that has no words. It's just the music, right? Just the instrumental, right? Because I think when I listen to music with lyrics, it kind of distracts my mind because I pick up the words, right? It's easier when there's no words and I can just focus on the art generally. But at the same time, these days I listen to K-pop as well. I'm a little embarrassed to say that, but because of my age, but I've been listening to K-pop recently for the past year or so. I got back into K-pop. I used to listen to it when I was in high school, a little bit in college, and then I stopped for like a decade or so, and now I'm back into it. Yeah. But you know, it's funny, a lot of the, I guess it works for me because a lot of the lyrics in K-pop, like even though I know Korean, I won't pick up a lot of the words so it kind of like blurs, and so it doesn't really sound like words to me, maybe. Anyways, Isaiah says I'm my own psychologist. Cool. Yeah, you guys wrote a lot of comments on the positive thinking stuff. Hey, what's up, Memories? Hey, what's up, Shin? Shin says he's always, or sorry, Shin says I'm always so nervous when I start a new piece. Yeah, I know what you mean. It depends. Like, I still get that sometimes. Not as strongly as before, but yeah, it depends on the piece. But yeah, get what you're saying. Yeah, my two boys were going crazy with the laser tag and the bow and arrow. They actually, I got a set for them, so there's like a set of two, like, you know, it's a pair of bow and arrows. So they were going crazy. I had to yell at them a little bit because they're pointing it at each other, at each other's faces, you know. Oh man. Penny says, I do believe in toxic positivity and that you can force so much positive thinking into a situation that it turns into a negative situation. Yeah, I think you're saying the same thing I was saying, where you end up becoming delusional, right? You're not in reality, you don't have sober judgment. But again, it depends. Yeah, so it's again being aware of how you are. I think that matters, right? If you're someone that tends to be negative, right, or has had a lot of negativity in your life growing up, then in my opinion, like in general, you would think you have to force yourself to be more positive, right? You have to talk to yourself in a more positive light to balance it out, right? And that's for me. Like, for me, I grew up man, with my parents being so negative towards me. Even now. I guess that never changes sometimes. But yeah, just hearing a lot of negative stuff. So like it echoes in my mind. So I have to counter that by becoming more positive, like talking to myself in a more positive way. Or else, you know, the negativity could take over. It's just not balanced, right? But again, if you grew up with your parents always saying, you're the best, right? Maybe you gotta wonder, am I really the best? Oh man, I'm hesitating so hard on this. Let's keep going. I'm gonna flatten everything. I'm gonna play around with the shape a little bit. Try to slim him up a little. Since everyone's calling him chubby here. Oops. Trying to mess with the overall direction of his body. Just so it doesn't look straight up and down, if that makes sense. But it's tending to make him look fatter than I want him to when I do that, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna look at some reference real quick. Oops. Yeah, I might have to slim him up. I think, yeah, that might look better. Even though I want him to be chubby personally, but I'm doing this for the 3D department, and I believe they want him to look a little slimmer. They didn't like it when he looked too chubby in the original, my first pass at it. So I'll slim him up. Oh yeah, Audrey, you're talking about the ambrosia apples. Yeah, those are so good. The other day I went back to the grocery store and I was picking up some more ambrosia apples, and there's an old guy next to me who was looking at apples, and I was like, do you know these apples? I was trying to sell him on the ambrosia apples. I was like, these apples are my favorite, and he was like, really? And I was telling him why I liked it. I'm like spreading the good news about ambrosia apples. K-pop, I'm listening to, let's see, well, it's BTS, a little bit, Big Bang. Is that the same thing? There's some other, I mean, I just listen to random stuff. It's like on Spotify, like the K-pop, like mixes that people make, I don't know, playlists that people make. And I just listen to a little bit of everything. I don't like follow anything about them, like, you know, I'm not like a huge, like a fan, like fanboying on them or anything like that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just not, I've never been like that with celebrities or I don't know, like artists, music artists. I don't follow anyone. I just like the music. It's entertaining to listen to. Martin listens to video game soundtracks while drawing. Cool. I think you asked, do you think the music affects your piece? What he's asking. Sometimes it does, yeah. So if I'm working on, yeah, I guess sometimes I will select the music. I used to, not anymore. I guess I'm just always in autopilot kinda, which is not necessarily the best thing to do, I guess. But yeah, there were times when I used to listen to like certain music depending on like what the subject matter was. Yeah. Audrey's asking, have you heard about our Lord and Savior, the Ambrosia apple? Wait, Audrey said one day we'll see a stream and at the back a poster of a member of BTS. Yep. I'll hide it, don't worry, I won't show it on the stream. It'll be like somewhere else over there. My camera will fall off, right, and then you'll see it on the other wall. And then I'll quickly pick up my camera and act like nothing happened. I think it's pretty cool though that K-pop is getting more popular, you know, globally. I hope that people understand that Korean guys aren't all like that. It's just not true. I know most of you guys know, but some people for some reason are confused. They think like Korean guys are like that. They are not like that. There's always wannabes, of course, but you know, in general, Korean guys are not like that at all. People talk about that. Some people say, you know how like the K-pop stars, the guys, they look very feminine, right? Or they kind of act feminine too, and that's like girls are attracted to that because Korean girls, sorry, because you know, the guys that they're around in Korea are actually not like that. They're more like more rugged, or I don't know what the right word is, sorry. It's not macho, it's like insensitive, maybe more masculine. There are more guys like that in Korea, right? The opposite, where they're more masculine. That kind of spectrum, right? So the girls there are more attracted to this fantasy guy that's more like what you see in K-pop, right? So because to have that they're just attracted to the opposite thing, I guess, from what they're used to seeing. They're sick of seeing like the typical Korean guy who's more masculine, right? If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, you can imagine why it's like that in Korea, because everyone in Korea has to go to serve in the military. So, you know, if you go to the military, you don't come out the same, right? If you know what I mean. Like, you'll come out more disciplined in general, you'll come out more rugged. You know what I mean? You don't come out the same. You're not going to be this little, or sorry, I don't want to paint it in a negative way because that's not what I mean, but you'll come out a little bit more manly in general, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's why I think in general a lot of the guys in Korea are more like that, because they all have to serve in the military. Every single person has to. So you're kind of trained to think a certain way and act a certain way. Who's been to the military? Have any of you guys been to the military? Or been a part of the military? Sorry, that's what I mean. My dad used to always tell me, someone like myself has to go to the military. He's like, man, you gotta go to the military. Okay. Yeah, I was quite, I would say I am more on the sensitive side. You know, as you know, you get older, you learn to mask it. Is that the right word? Mask it, or I mean, I'm sure I've become less sensitive than I used to be. Part of it's growing up, right? But then at the same time, part of it is just your nature, right? How you are. Being sensitive isn't like, I don't see it as a negative thing, like directly, right? It can be, but you know, it's just everyone's different, right? You can use sensitivity for good things, right? And you could use it for bad things, right? Like anything. But yeah, I was definitely growing up more on the sensitive side. So I think that's why my dad would say stuff like that. Both of my boys, they're like very sensitive for being a boy, right? Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's probably because they're like me. Hey, penguins have tails, right? I'm just realizing, oh, maybe I should give them a tail. Let me actually look it up real quick if penguins have tails. Or what they look like. Sorry, I'm sure they have tails, but... Oh, they're pretty long. Wow. That's why you gotta look up reference, huh? The tail is a lot longer than I imagined it would be. But I'm still gonna keep it fairly short. But still, let me try making it a little bit longer. Whoops. I guess that's what it is. Military, going to the military desensitizes you. Right? They have to like train you that way, right? So for an artist, it's like the worst thing. Do you want to be desensitized as an artist? No, right? You want to keep that sensitivity so you can see, feel things, see things differently, right? That are happening, that are going on. Isn't that what an artist uses, you know? Their sensitivity, like how do they see the world, how they see things that other people don't see, and express that, right? So yeah, for an artist, it's like not a great thing in my opinion. But, you know, if you want to be ready for war, you can't be sensitive, can you? Try playing with this mouth area. Wow, okay. All right. So I'll leave it at that for the side view. Of course, I'm gonna have to clean it up. Oh, actually, I think I gotta get rid of the straps. Hold on. I think they want it without anything on it first. So let me erase that part and figure that out. Hey Mitchell, you applied for the intro to concept? Cool. Will this course teach us how to make a portfolio? The mentor can help you with that, but the course itself is really an intro. I mean, it's called Intro to Concept because it's an introduction to everything, right? The focus is not about creating a portfolio, even though you can create, you know, portfolio pieces out of those the coursework. But again, like the goal isn't to have this portfolio that's ready to go, you know, in terms of applying for real jobs, right? It's an intro class. So I think it's a bit unrealistic to, you know, expect that you're going to have a completed portfolio after the intro course. But again, it depends on your instructor or mentor. They can still help you with that on the side. That's stuff that you guys should be asking the appropriate people at CG Spectrum before you apply, right? I'm just letting you guys know that because I know a lot of students they have like incorrect expectations of certain courses. And again, in the beginning, of course, you don't know, but that's what you got to ask beforehand, right? Just always make sure to ask and talk to the right people to make so that you guys have the correct expectations and you're on the same page. I'm just laughing at Audrey's comment about she's saying she knows we have I have the merch, the K-pop merchandise. I'm already embarrassed about it, Audrey. Come on, I'm embarrassed that I even listen to K-pop right now at my age. I told you I'm sensitive. Why are you making me feel bad? No, I'm just messing around. It's just funny. Yeah, what Audrey said is correct. Not really unless you ask, of course. Yeah, so it's not meant to focus on a portfolio. The intro classes are not. And again, Audrey, thank you for answering that question. There are open sessions. They can help you out with that as well during the open sessions. So a mentor, whoever is available, they'll have open sessions. It's 2 hours a week at least. So you can join those open sessions and put up your artwork. It could be personal artwork, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So just you can get portfolio tips on that during the open sessions. Gangnam. Everyone looks so perfect. Do they? It might be the plastic surgery. I used to live in Gangnam. Gangnam, they call it Gangnam-gu, like the area. I used to live specifically in Samsung-dong, but that is Gangnam, a part of Gangnam. But yeah, I promise you, Koreans don't look perfect. They actually look kind of... Actually, I'm not going to say. But it's the plastic surgery. They get a lot of plastic surgery. Oh my gosh, whenever I watch K-dramas, and I'm always noticing their faces, and all their noses look the same. They went to this... They point it at the same picture, right? At the doctor's office. They're like, give me that nose, give me that nose. And they all chose the same nose, so the nose looks the same. Their noses look the same. It's crazy. I like, personally, I think it looks gross when people get plastic surgery. It looks so weird, so odd. I mean, I guess if you can't notice, then, you know, whoever did the plastic surgery did a great job if you can't notice. But when you can notice that they got a lot of plastic surgery done, it's just weird. Their faces look like it can't move, you know? There's like no expression to their face. Or it looks so fake, like their smiles look so fake. Mitchell, you're probably talking about the Gangnam Style song? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. This is for the 3D department, this penguin concept. This is for a beginner 3D artist. So this will be one of their first, I believe it's their first assignment. If you're going through the, I don't know what they call it, but the beginner intro course for 3D. So it had to be a very simple concept. Audrey gave directions to a military man. That's funny. Yeah, so Mitchell, what are people like? The guys that you know that were in the military, aren't they different? Or are they not? Did they change after they went to the military? Oh, Mitchell says he was going to be a SEAL. Then I had a family. No regrets. Yeah, that sounds cool, but again, yeah, that's a huge commitment, right? You gotta make sacrifices if you're gonna do something like that. It's a decision that each person has to make. It's not just related to like, it's related to anything that has a huge time commitment, right? In order to achieve that goal. And it could be even with art. Like, to be honest, to be successful at this, if you're starting late, like later in life, you have to make real sacrifices. And it's not for everyone. Wei says, I thought about enrolling in the military. I'm assuming free food, housing, training, and paycheck, but plans changed and I chose art. All the people that I know that went to the military, I don't think any of them really wanted to go. Yeah, it's not like they're like, I can't wait to go to the military. I'm sure there are people like that, but I'm just saying the people that I know that went to the military, they did out of like financial need, right? And most of them didn't like it. There's a few that liked it or still like it, but most of the guys that I know didn't like it. It wasn't a good experience for them. They tell me a lot of stories, but I'm not going to get into that here. But it sounded really weird and interesting, the things that went on. Mitchell says, I'm choosing art now, super excited. I'm a self-published fantasy writer and I can't wait to merge art with my writing. That sounds awesome. Yeah, the people that I know that do both are with like children's books, right? Where they're drawing, illustrating, and writing. I don't know about the yeah, like real like fantasy art for, or sorry, fantasy books for adults, but for the kids stuff, I think that's awesome that you could do both, you know. You could start anytime. Yeah. I think it's never too late as long as you have the time to commit to it, right? To your skill set, to your craft. Usually, the problem with starting too late, again, is if you have like family, right? You have kids, then you're going to be divided. You're going to have like, you know, you're always going to have issues with what you're going to have to sacrifice, right? And if you sacrifice your kids, I don't know if that's a good thing, right? I don't know how they're going to end up. Again, that's opinion, I guess, but in my opinion, I don't think it's a good idea to sacrifice like the attention and time you need to give to your kids. So yeah, that's why I think people who start late have an issue focusing. But if you don't have kids, great. You can do it easily. Wow, yeah, Audrey, she's saying one of the friends that she knows enrolled in the school is 68. Yeah, why not? Is it ideal? No, but why not? You only have one life to live. Pursue what you want, right? Yeah, I mean, I think as artists, we all understand that sensitivity isn't a bad thing, right? But, you know, people in my dad's generation, they think otherwise. And, you know, it depends who you talk to, right? They see sensitivity as a lot of people see that as like a weakness, right? But, you know, people like us know better. Again, it can be a weakness. We just need to know how to control it, right? Use it where it's appropriate. Oh, Audrey, you're in Gangnam? Cool. Wait, Audrey, where are you from again? Sorry, I think you told me before. And why did you go to Korea again? It's funny, in Korea, people hate like big heads or big faces. They always like try to make their faces look small in pictures, or heads look small in pictures. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? They'll angle like the picture so that they'll put their face or head in an angle where their head looks small, or their face looks small, sorry. That's a thing in Korea. It's because a lot of people in Korea, they used to have big heads. There's a term for it. Yeah, but anyways. I'm talking about like physically big head. No, I'm not saying people shouldn't do plastic surgery. Sorry, don't misunderstand. That's your personal choice, right? Yeah. I'm just saying it's, to me, as someone like who's not around a ton of people, like, again, in Korea, plastic surgery is very like normal, you know what I mean? Like it's a thing you do after you graduate college, basically. Or sorry, maybe it's after you get into college. people will do plastic surgery. It's like a routine for everyone. Like up till college or before college, you just focus on studies. You don't focus on looks or anything, right? And then when you get into college, that's when like people get to rest. It's weird. And then they'll focus on their looks. Basically, they're getting ready to, you know, find someone to marry, you know what I mean? Or start dating, start their dating life. Sorry, that's what I mean. Not marriage, but starting their dating life. So they're focused more on looks. And so they'll get plastic surgery. Like, it's very, very normal. Obviously in America it's normal too, but the amount of plastic surgery Koreans do is very, very different from the amount that the average American would do. Yeah, so again, coming from being an American and not living in Korea right now, it just seems very odd to see like all these people have like the same nose. That's what I'm saying. Not looking down on them. That's your choice. That's your personal choice, you know? Wei says, I already gave up on my face a long time ago. I'll work on my body instead. That's great, yeah. Sometimes we just gotta let go of certain things, right? That's good that you can say that. Yeah, work on what you can, right? Choose your battles, right? Choose your battles. Hey, what's up, Aldera? Shin says, I've been to Gangnam too, to visit my Korean friend, his wedding. Cool. Audrey, have you seen Wei's face? I'm just joking. Mitchell says, I'm going into intro for concept. I was oh, okay. Sorry. See you guys. See you, Mitchell. Okay, Audrey's from France, living in Canada, or living in Canada, went to Korea. Cool. Hi, Antonis. You never know, Audrey. I'm just joking. Yeah, people are fine. I'm just joking. I'm sure Wei looks fine. Alright, let's do a back view for this guy. I'm just gonna trace my front view. Oh shoot, actually I might have to make an adjustment. He looks a lot thinner from the side now, so I'm gonna double check, see if it still makes sense. Oh, he still looks pretty chubby from the 3/4 view, huh? Whoops. Yeah, I'm gonna just duplicate the front view. Erase bits out. I'm wanting to put anatomy in here, but then I gotta keep reminding myself. Doesn't make sense. Gotta focus on the shapes. All right. Oops. Oops. Hey, by the way, if you guys could give me a like real quick, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Is that really it? That's the back view. Maybe I'll make a little crease right here in the back where his head ends, like a little wrinkle. Seemed too easy. It's just a blob. I'm gonna clean this all up, of course, later. But for now, or maybe I'm gonna have to do it here since we have more time. Do you guys have any other questions about things? Please feel free to ask. In general, anything related to art, concept art, gaming industry, whatever you guys want. Ask away. Hey, I gotta change this up. Audrey says, I wonder if anybody out of spite just put a thumbs down. I'm sure that's happened. Give me a thumbs down. Any attention's good attention. Audrey's asking, would you say in terms of concept art, there's a big difference between video game industry and movie? There is a difference. I can't speak from personal experience. I'm trying to think, did I have a... I worked in the cinematic department at Blizzard, but that's different, you know? From like the movie industry, right? I'm trying to think if I did do any freelance work for movies. Yeah, so my experience is different, but from what I've heard and what I know of, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a huge difference, but there is a difference. Because you're mainly it's the way it looks like when you're working for them. You're hired by, usually you're hired by project, right? It's not like there's a studio and you're working for them, you know, on a yearly basis. You get hired depending for a specific project, right? So for example, if you're working on a Spider-Man movie, right? They're hiring you specifically for a purpose that fits that genre or style, right? And then you're gone after that. After the movie's done or your work is done on the movie, you know, you're not working for them anymore. But in terms of the actual work, I don't think there's a huge difference, no. I know you have to work with like costume designers and things like that because it has to be practical. For example, if you're working on Mad Max, you are going to be working with the people that are actually making the costumes for the actors, right? So you might have to make, communicate with them and adjust things based on what's practical. So in that sense, it's probably going to be different. Like obviously when you make games, you don't run into that. You can do whatever you want. You're not actually building it in real life, so yeah. I'm going to try adjusting the side view a little bit. Looks a little too skinny now. By the way, next week we will be working on something new. It'll be a high-res concept, so this is like a super simple one, right? The next one we're gonna do is the opposite, where it'll be for more advanced artist, 3D artist. I believe it'll be some kind of a monster, like Godzilla type monster, so we'll start concepts on that next week. Oops. Way's asking, what is one fundamental of art that you never liked much, hated, or had difficulty grasping it? Perspective. Yeah, so, 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, 3-point perspective, all that stuff is pretty easy to understand once you look into it. The issue is when you're doing a super complex scene, right? With a lot of different design elements, it's just so annoying to put everything in perspective for me. Again, it's more technical, right? So I just don't like dealing with that stuff. Wei says, for me, it has to be proportions, measuring in particular. I just don't like it. It becomes like math. I tend to eyeball 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, perspectives like that too, where again, if it's like a more simple design, you can eyeball it, right? You can put in your basic perspective guidelines and eyeball everything to those guidelines. But when it's a super complex design, let's say for example, something that you would see in Cyberpunk, or like a scene, right? Yeah, it could get really annoying. For me at least, it's annoying to make sure everything lines up to those perspective lines, to the vanishing points. It's just not fun for me. So I remember my perspective teacher in college would say that doing perspective was like therapy for him, right? Sorry, not therapy, sorry. It is for some people, I'm sure. Or you have to get therapy after you finish perspective class. That's how I see it. I needed therapy afterwards. But for him, it was meditative. That's what he said. It was like meditation, kind of. Not for me. So I could see why, yeah, it could work for people who think that way, though. Because it's not annoying, it's just, again, more meditative for people like that. Where it's more repetitive, it's more like they could, like, zone out, in a sense, while they're drawing all their lines to perspective. Let's make some slight adjustments to this guy, the side view. Yeah, it doesn't really match the front and back view. Plump them up a bit, back up. That looks a little better. Hey, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to take a short break, a few minutes, okay? Or a minute. I'll be right back, all right? Alright, I'm back. Tatum's asking, how would you go about exploring studios to find the way to create your portfolio? There just seems to be such a broad spectrum of style types. How would you go about exploring studios? There just seems to be such... You're saying, how would you cater your portfolio to a specific studio? So let me answer it this way. Yeah, so if you have a certain art style, right, that you really like, or you already have, and you know, that's your natural way of painting or drawing, you have a specific style, then sure, you could look for, you know, research studios, art studios, gaming studios that have a similar range of style to yours. And then, yeah, gather reference from their site of concept art, and use that as a standard or something to shoot for, right, in your own portfolio. Like for example, you know, if you like League of Legends from Riot Games, you would get concept art reference from League of Legends and shoot for that similar style range. It doesn't have to be exact, you know, but at least within that ballpark, if you're serious about wanting to get a job working for that specific studio. These days it does seem like art studios or game studios, they really care about style more than ever. They're very, very specific about the style that each artist has. That's why if you're a bit off style-wise, but you're a great artist, they will give you art tests. It's very common. And honestly, I hate doing art tests because it takes so long to do it correctly. Again, of course, if you're just starting off and you don't have a job, the art test is fine because you're practicing communicating with a studio and getting feedback and creating a portfolio piece, basically, right? So it's not like you could still win by doing an art test even if you don't get the job, right? But for somebody who already has a job but they're just trying to, you know, go to a better studio, or the studio or recruiter reaches out to you and you end up doing a test for another studio to see if you know, you fit them or not, it could be really annoying because it takes like 1 to 2 weeks full time to do a proper art test. So if it amounts to nothing, then you just wasted a week, like what is that? Yeah, you could waste about 40 hours of work. So that part's annoying, but again, if you're just starting off, it doesn't matter. But yeah, does that answer your question, Tatum? Re-ask the question or clarify it if I'm not understanding your question. Like, if you like a style that's more realistic, it's easy then. If you have a realistic style or a style range that's, again, somewhat more on the realistic side, it makes it a lot easier because there's such a wide range of games that that can use your style, basically, right? So that makes things a lot easier. But when you have more of a very stylized look to your artwork, yeah, that could be quite challenging. I've had art, excuse me, art students where their styles were very specific, but they're good artists, and they had a hard time finding a job because I feel like their art style was so specific. That doesn't mean like they shouldn't pursue that art style. It just means they may have to wait a little longer to find a job because, again, it's project specific, right? Whatever project that style range has to become available, right? So it's timing. In some ways, if you have a specific style that's appealing, it can be an advantage as well, because, you know, not a lot of people have that style. Or a lot of the times studios are looking for a unique style for their game, but they don't know what that's going to look like. And maybe when they're going through your going through multiple portfolios, they see your style and they're like, wow, this is great. You know, this is a unique look. This would be great for our project. Then they'll hire you, right? And you have less competition in that sense, right? So it all depends. That's why, again, I always tell students not to chase styles. Just pursue the style that you really enjoy, that you really like. That's what I always tell students. Unless they have no idea, you know, if a student says, hey, I don't know what art style I want to do, I don't have a preference, right? They say, I don't really care. Then I would tell them to pursue the more realistic art style, you know, because again, there's more job opportunities in general for that. That range, if that makes sense. I think even like Disney style, like that range, right? Disney style has if you have that look, you probably have a easy time finding jobs as well. Because people are in general familiar with that Disney style, right? And they like it in general. There's an audience out there that likes that style, so again, that could work out too. Look at this, I'm like changing up the look here. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. I naturally, again, want to give it more believability, because it looks too simple to me. But yeah. The feet size don't look right, huh? Okay, cool, Tatum. Glad that's helpful. Wei said, I used to think that simple styles were easy peasy, but now that I know more about art, I found out they're not that easy to pull up. No, they're not. It's definitely not easy. I mean, sure, if you had, like, you know, several months to practice an art style, it could become a lot easier, for sure. But if you're just trying to wing it, nope. Anyways, thanks everyone. Hope you guys are gonna have a good week. yeah, you guys got a lot of stuff done this week. Thanks for hanging out with me. Again, next week we are going to do a higher res concept. And yeah, hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you guys next Monday, alright? See ya, bye.